here we go. Sarah here. Welcome back to another episode of You're Fucking Welcome. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about momentum, which is one of my favorite topics. And when I was thinking about talking to you about momentum, what came through for me is the story around how essentially a $97 offer changed my life. And when I say that, I want you to know that that's not me exaggerating. Truly, 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 me putting out a $97 offer changed my entire life around. And I know I've talked about this to an extent before, but I wanted to break it down in this context because it just felt so important to remind you of this and to make it clear to you how important it is to just embrace small wins. So if we go back to 2017, again, I know many of you have heard the story a million times, but I was going through a hard personal time and I was coming off of a period where I was just working with one-on-one clients. But again, being in that bad personal time, I wasn't really taking on a ton of clients. I wasn't marketing myself that hard because I really just didn't have the energetic capacity. I could barely get off the couch. And I was struggling. I was definitely struggling in January, come February. And in February, number one, I had started showing up a lot and doing live videos, all of that kind of stuff. But the thing that I haven't talked about enough is the offer that kind of catapulted that and how that money came in and how all of that came to be. And at that time, I had been working previously with lots of Beachbody coaches. So I knew the Beachbody world really well. If you're not familiar, Beachbody coaching is like an MLM really focused on health and wellness and all of that kind of stuff. And they would sell exercise programs and this protein shake. And I worked with a lot of them. So I got to know the company really, really, really well. Their, structure of how they paid their coaches, all of those kind of things. And so again, I knew it really well. And more specifically, I knew and felt really strongly about what I thought so many of them were doing wrong when it came to their marketing. And, it was one of those things where I found myself, every client that I talked to, I was having similar conversations in terms of here's what's going on with your marketing, right? And here's what needs to change. And so I remember it so clearly. It was February 4th. I was having friends over. My college friends for a slumber party. And I had to get, I did this webinar beforehand and I had to get it done really quickly. And I knew I was going to offer something at the end about challenges, but even going into the webinar, or right before the webinar, I wasn't still super clear on what it was that I was going to sell. I really had to put together that offer really quickly. And that felt okay. Obviously that's not the ideal way to work. While at the same time, I had the ideas in my head, right? I was just kind of trying to iron out the structure of it. And again, I knew that they were doing this really core thing in their marketing wrong in terms of how they were running free live challenges. And that was their way of getting clients from there. And again, I just saw so many errors in this process. And so I knew I wanted to create a program, a group program essentially to teach them what I thought was the right way. And so I put together a very simple sales page. I knew that it was worth way more than $97. I knew that, while at the same time, I needed money at that point, right? It just I was so struggling for cash that I was just whatever, I'll do anything for, $97. But also B, I knew it had really big potential. And I was I just feel it's smart to get people in and be able to say yes to this thing really easily and have it be this really quick and easy cash infusion. And then of course I can just up the price when I feel like it later. And so that's exactly what I did. And I wish I had the exact numbers for you. I'm going to try to go back and look because I don't know, it would just be interesting for me to find them. But I sold, I forget, I want to say it was somewhere close to $5,000 worth of this $97 program. That might be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but it was somewhere around there. And I remember it again so specifically because I had my friends over that night and just seeing payment after payment come in, $97, $97, $97. I had never made money that quickly before, right? At that point, again, I was doing mostly one-on-one coaching. So the process for getting paid, I was sitting there doing, discovery calls and that that kind of thing. It was like, it felt so long. It felt like it took so long to get paid, or I had to like know that person, have a conversation with them. They booked the call and then we're waiting a couple days to have the call. Again, it felt so long. And all of a sudden these like $97 payments coming in from strangers, it felt like so wildly exciting. Again, even though $97 per customer wasn't that much money, but it felt like such a big deal. I had never seen that happen before in my business. And it gave way to so much momentum and so much excitement in my business, not only because it got me out of a bad place, but more than that, because people went on after they bought that initial program, they went on to buy the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. And more than that, B, it was that I sold that program for $97 that time. I think I sold it for like $97 one more time. And then after that, it went up to $197, then it went up to $397 and then $497. And of course, I added things in, but it was a situation where so much of my big wins that year that you've heard me talk about so many times, my first 500K year, so much of it started, like that snowball literally got started with that $97 offer. And I wanted to bring this up today because I just want to make sure that you understand so clearly, and this does not matter. It does not matter what level of business you are at right now. It does not matter if you have made $1 million. It doesn't matter if you have made $1,000. I see you all do this. I see you want to get to the next level. I see you want to make that next big amount of money. And you're so focused on that. You're so focused on getting to the big wins that you forget sometimes that the small wins are what actually create those big wins. And that you can't create big wins unless you're appreciating the smaller ones, right? Like, it was very easy. It could have been very easy for me to sit there and say, oh, whatever, $97. What am I going to do with that? That's not going to help me. I owe this amount of money to this credit card and, I've got to pay my student loans and, oh, big deal, $97. But I took what was working and I kept rolling with it. I kept increasing it. I kept amplifying it. I kept making sure that I was pulling out, okay, here's what is working. I'm extracting the magic of what is working here and I'm going to amplify it and I'm going to do my best to keep recreating that magic and recreating it and letting it all add up for me. And again, so many people out of fear and out of panic and out of survivorship, quite frankly, are not allowing for that snowball to amount to anything, right? Something can be moving. They're starting to get engagement over here, or they're starting to get people to pay attention over there. And because they're so eager to get to that bigger jump, whatever that is, let's say 10K, they're so eager to get over there that they're not even seeing what is right in front of them. And momentum, to me, it's so, again, I know I've compared it many times to like popcorn popping, but that's what it feels like to me. It's energy. It's this movement where people are actually paying attention and people are putting the pieces of the puzzle together and they're getting a little bit more interested in this and they want to hear a little bit more about that. And you can go a week, 2 weeks, let's say, with no big sales coming in, no big amount of money coming in. But if you continue capitalizing on the energy that is being moved and the energy that is being created, you will be in such an incredible place if you keep going, if you keep going, if you keep going. And again, most people don't keep going. Most people don't get the result that they want fast enough, and so they jump ship to the next thing, and they never give momentum a chance to actually be created. And again, they're so eager to get to the big wins that they're not allowing themselves to actually appreciate or see the value in small wins. And I just want to stress that so much because, again, if I'm sitting there talking about 2017 being my first 500K year, most people want to get to the 500K year, but they are so uninterested in the $97 offer. They are so uninterested in creating that first thing that crushes it. They're so uninterested in doing those first actions that actually get people talking to them. They don't care about people talking to them. They just want the money. They just want, again, the big win that they are seeing that they either need or that they want so badly because they want to compare themselves to somebody else online. And I get it. Trust me, I've been those places. And so it's not to criticize that, but it's just like, what's the expression? Like, what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Like, It's not about turning into a millionaire overnight, and everyone's trying to turn into a millionaire overnight. You doing good work and you getting it out there to people in this purposeful way, and you feeling their feedback and you hearing them clapping for you. Again, that Tinkerbell effect that I've always talked about. You actually pulling out of people that energy and sticking with it and allowing it to keep adding up and adding up and adding up. Again, it's a snowball. That is what gets you to much bigger things. And I want so badly for so many of you to stop halting it and, again, jumping ship. And the reason this came up a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to a client in one of my programs is they were kind of eager. I think I talked about this a little bit on a previous episode, but they were feeling like kind of eager to raise their prices. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I want all of you to price and to rate your offers based on what you feel it's worth for you. But I also feel like a lot of people see raising their rates as like this shortcut to success, or like this shortcut to the goal that they want to hit. And that's true sometimes, right? Like, of course, like if you increase your rates and if you're confident about it, it might make you more money and it might get you to that monthly income goal faster. Sure, that argument is valid. Balanced out with, so often people will raise their rates too quickly instead of perfecting the offer, or instead of really worrying about them getting more confident or understanding what their people are actually responding to. And they, again, jump ship to the next thing. They jump ship to raising that price, and they weren't ready for it. And they would have been creating so much momentum with the good thing that they had. They will not fuck up, but like they will halt the momentum of the good thing because they want to get somewhere else instead of just riding the wave of the good thing. Right? And so again, $97, that first offer. Could I have charged more? Yes. Could I have charged more the second time that I did it? Absolutely. But it felt so good to get paid easily, and it felt so good to be getting all of that positive feedback on those people who are winning in my offer and knowing that they wanted to keep going and keep going. That changed my life. It changed my fucking life. It changed my business. It changed how I looked at money for the rest of my life. Like, that was such a pivotal moment for me. And I just want to stress this again because it wasn't that big of a deal. I put together a $97 offer that I thought was smart. I didn't go into it being like, okay, it's time. I'm gonna turn into the millionaire now. No, it was actually no big deal. It was me just taking the natural gifts and the knowledge that I had, the strategic information that I knew in my heart and soul was important and necessary and needed. And I was getting it out there and I was speaking to the people who needed it. And again, it wasn't, nothing was built overnight. It changed overnight. But it wasn't, again, this wild, wild, wild jump from, 0 to 500K. Quickly or without a lot of little wins building up to that. And I just want to stress that to you today. And really, it doesn't matter, again, what stage you are in your business. Momentum is the most important thing you can possibly strive for, right? It's not money. It's not sales as an entrepreneur. It's not a mindset. It is momentum. Momentum is what you want at any given moment. And, just as an example, I have a client who, she does well in her business anyway, but she just did a video on TikTok like 2 days ago. And, today it has 1 million views and she's gotten like 15,000, I think, like 10 or 15,000 new followers. And that's what I want you to live for. I want you to live for the little tiny things that you do that could add up to really big wins. But she did that not trying to do it. She did it just saying something she really wanted to say. Her honest opinions, the things that she had been saying, to anybody else, but she was giving herself permission to do that on camera. And one little video like that, one way in which you're showing up and sharing your, again, natural gifts, the things that you know to be true, anything can turn around like that really quickly. Now, again, did that amount to $1 million in her bank account? No, of course not. But if she does that one time, and if she does it again, and if she does it again, the momentum that will be built, if we flash forward to December of this year, will be astronomical. But it wasn't, that one little video turned her life around. It was, again, her having a small win and then continuing to build upon them, right? Without reinventing the wheel, just continuing to work that magic that she already possesses and allowing more people to witness it. It's not about, again, doing something different or being something different. And those next 10,000 followers for you, or 5,000 or 500, are inches away. They're not far away. But again, so often you're not focused on that because you're focused on the money and the big money jumps that you want to make instead. And momentum with your audience, with your people, with your offers, that's the core, like that's the key to success. That is what actually makes up a successful business. And I've said it before, but I really feel like one of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned in business, and this is something that I will preach until the day I die, is that you can lose momentum. Like as a business owner, yes, you can lose momentum. We all want to tell ourselves that we can't. Like, oh no, like we can get sick, whatever it is. And like, no. Momentum can never be lost. Like we lie to ourselves in that way. I know that I did for a really long time. And I think one of the most refreshing things that I ever shifted was, yes, Sarah, like you can lose momentum. It does not have to be up and up only. You might have a bad month. You might have a bad couple launches. That might happen. Momentum can be dropped. Momentum can fall off at some point. But the important thing is the belief that I have now and that I want you to have is that I can pick it up, you can pick it up whenever the fuck you want to. Because I know how to. I know how to get back in there with my people. I know how to create offers that blow their minds. And I know how to focus on the small wins that create a whole lot of fucking wins in the future. But we start with, again, that small momentum. And again, I know how to do that. And so I want to share with you something I'm really excited about, which is my brand new coaching container. I don't love the word container, but it's a new experience where we are doing live weekly group coaching calls for 2 hours. You've got a private Facebook group. You've got other ways to get supported by me, like a Q&A, submission, all that kind of stuff. But it's basically a coaching container that is really created with the intention of helping you create and build and grow and pick up your momentum, right? I want you in a position where you are consistently supported. You have somebody to consistently ask questions when it comes to what do you need to do next, or your strategy, or your offer, or what do I need to do? I feel like everything's stagnant right now. What do I need to do? I want to be there for you to help you with that. And I want to be there to help you with that for a really accessible price. And so you can, of course, go to sarah-dan.com to check out all the details, but it is $497 a month, which feels so wildly not low, but it feels like such a no-brainer. It feels so, I hate the word affordable, but it feels so accessible for everybody at every stage. And I really do believe that like committing to something like this, getting on the calls, hearing other people's questions, committing to asking questions yourself, whether that's on the calls or in the Facebook group, allowing me to get to know you and your business, that is going to be the thing that helps you spark that momentum for yourself, because I'm going to help you figure out the way in which to do that. And I'm going to keep you on track as we go. Not only, again, me, but also the community that you're a part of by being in momentum. And so sarah-dan.com for all the details. I should say that I don't want to make any declarative statements. I know I'm a little bit famous for that. I'm always working on it. But about 99% positive that this year, most of my programs, I shouldn't say this year, like from this point forward, will be self-study. 500K is coming out, self-study, so on and so forth. A lot of these programs will be things that you can, you sign up and you get them instantly and no access to me. This is going to be the way to access me. This is going to be the way to ask me questions, so on and so forth. And so I know that I've worked with many of you, and I know that you know the magic of our group coaching calls, being able to ask questions, and this container has been just created to do exactly that week after week about anything you want. You have a mindset question, go for it. You want to ask me about your offer, go for it. This is literally a time for you to get coached on whatever it is that you need to, again, pick up that momentum. And I think it's going to be really magical and really exciting. Our first call is this Friday. All calls will be Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific. Not all, I mean, most of the time. Sometimes, if I like have a vacation or I'm traveling or something like that, I might move something around, but very rarely does that happen. So Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific, you've got 2 hours with me, and I would love to have you because, again, I think it's going to be really magical. And I really feel so strongly that I know how to help you spark that momentum in your business. And again, this is going to be the thing that does that, that helps me help you do that. And so again, sarah-dan.com for all the details, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you took the time to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps the show a ton, and I would be super grateful.